with you guys. But anyways, congratulations to y'all's team and all your success. We really admire you guys as leaders. I know that every time we try to get out there and come do something with you guys, there's always something. It's almost unbelievable. And even when they messaged me about today, I was like, they're not going to believe it. We're like month ended. We're at our office with our guys last night till about midnight. And then this morning, everyone met in the parking lot like at 6 a.m. and boom, going on a road trip to float the river. I always laugh. I always tell everyone I think we would have been over 1 million a long time ago if we quit like just throwing massive parties for like a week after every month end. We like take our entire team out of the field, and then we have like, so every month we really work only like, I think our entire team only works like 2 to 3 weeks because we do it to ourselves that we call this massive just party for an entire week after every month end. So, but guys, hey, pumped to be on here with you guys. Excited. Rob is right here, but we're driving, and our drive is in the rain a little bit, but it's about to get really sunny, so it's going to be awesome. But man, what an awesome team, and what an awesome play to call. Instead of ours, you guys are getting on this morning and learning, going to the next level. Probably need to learn something from you guys. But man, it's just it really is an honor, and I'll tell you a little bit of our story, and a lot of y'all know it, but man, we just love Primerica, and we're so grateful and we're so thankful for this phenomenal company. And by the way, if we go in and out and I lose reception, you guys just wave your hands or say stop or something like that. And so I'll back up because I talk fast anyways. So if I lose reception for like 10 seconds, I probably spoke for like 5 minutes between, okay? But man, we are just really grateful, and kind of a little bit of our story too. You know, we started Primerica when we were 21 years old and 23. I was a college student. I had no honest desire to do Primerica. I was looking for Primerica. And like most of you guys, Primerica finds us, right? That's how we know this is where God really wants us. It's a company of destiny. Primerica finds you. It picks you out, okay? They go, wow, we want this person to have an extremely blessed life, so it finds you. And I originally came back for my second interview. By the way, I went to a one-person op night. I was the only person that showed up. My RVP actually left the meeting because he told his guys behind the scenes, not in front of me, but he told them it was a waste of his time. And by the way, that RVP makes 280. He cash flowed almost 300,000 last year, and we are his only RVPs that he ever launched out, and makes 300,000 a year because of one person. And he'll make a lot more than that because we'll go over 1.1, 1.2 million this year. And so what an awesome business, right? And so he leaves the meeting, and long story short, they set me another interview to come back and meet with Brady. And I really only came back to tell them why I wasn't going to do Primerica. And I had about 13 points of everything I thought probably wasn't good, and why I didn't think this was what they were saying it was, way too good to be true, all the things that we think, right? And I told Rob, my husband, but he was my boyfriend at the time, I said, hey, I'm going to be in there for 10 minutes, then we'll go grab lunch. And an hour and a half later, okay, almost 2 hours, I come out like Miss Primerica, right? And I'm like, man, we're going to do this. And we were so pumped. And, you know, things didn't get off to a fast start for us. You know, we're not like these leaders that come in and, you know, in like 3 seconds, they're $1 million earners. That's not, you know, we're not like these guys that after their second month, we're running $100 by $100,000 base shop. I think that's awesome. I think that's amazing. That's where the company's at today. But that wasn't necessarily our story, you know. I set 10 training appointments up immediately because that's what they told me to do. And all 10 of them canceled. My parents were very upset I was doing Primerica. So all my appointments were with family and business partners. And they made sure that every one of those were canceled. So they called all the family members. They called their business partners. They said, Whitney's a kid. You know, she's young. She's getting tricked by this company. It doesn't work. And so if we'll just cancel our appointments and she fails, then she'll quit doing this. And so we can't support it, or she'll keep doing it. And they were really excited that I was in college. They were really excited that I was going to do, you know, corporate law, finance, be an attorney. And that's where they wanted me to stay. And a lot of you guys that are on the Zoom today, You know, if you're an animal, if you're a shark, right, that when they throw water on your fire, it's not water, it's gasoline for us, right? We turn their water into gasoline. And that's all that they did. You know, before they were so negative, I wanted to do Primerica. After they were negative, I had to do Primerica, right? It was like, I really got to do it now, right? Because it gave me fire. And so I look back, and I tell people that maybe you have negative friends and family in your life. I tell them, I go, to me, that was the best thing that could ever happen, because all it did was motivate me to really want to do this. And everyone's different, but I think that happened exactly for a reason. And I'm blessed that that happened and it worked out the way that it did. But, I'll tell you too, so we get in the business, we start going, everything didn't go smooth selling for us. I used to look at people, I don't know if any of y'all on the call can relate to this. I used to look at people doing like 100 recruits, and I just thought they were unicorns. I just thought they were these magical people. Like it almost, my mind, I wish people could open my brain and really understand how much I really never believed we could ever recruit 100 people. I didn't believe we could recruit 50 people. And I'd see these people, we obviously are in Texas. And back at the time, the farmers, the Greers, they were the big recruiters doing 100 plus, like Carlos Gonzalez. And I just couldn't go there. It was so impossible to me. And I just never believed that. And I don't know if any of you guys can relate with that, we promoted out, we've averaged for the year about 100. And I say that because we've averaged for the year about 130 recruits a month. This last month, we did 75 recruits. We've also promoted 3 first generations in the last 4 months. We're about to promote another 2 first generations. So we'll promote 5 direct RVPs just in the next 6 months, direct to us. And we'll have over 20 regional first generation regional vice presidents by August. And so our recruiting last month was 75, but we've averaged 130 before promoting these RVPs, and we'll get back to 100. But I say all that because I never believed it. I never thought we could ever do that. I remember how hard it felt to double-digit recruit. I mean, I remember, our first month we recruited 5 people, and it took everything I had to recruit those 5. And I remember all these people thought we were such good recruiters in our base shop, because our base shop did very, very small recruiting. And before we got there, they were only doing maybe 10 recruits on a good month. So when we came in and recruited 5, they made us feel like superheroes. They told us, man, y'all are beasts, y'all recruit everyone. I remember telling Rob one time on the side, I go, man, good thing they don't know how many people I met with, because I met with like 100 and only 5 said yes. So people are asking me recruiting tips, and I was giving it to them, but I was like, thank goodness they don't know how many said no, right? Because I probably interviewed 100 people to get the 5. And that's like somebody making 10 shots, but they put up 1,000, right? And everyone thinks they're this amazing shooter, but really they have like the worst ratio that ever exists in mankind, right? And so, but man, Primerica, we stayed on the recruiting message. I'm going to talk a lot about recruiting today. That's all we know, especially early on, we would do like, maybe 30 recruits when we start getting our recruiting really going, and like maybe 10,000 a premium. And then we would do 50 recruits and like 20,000 a premium. And, everyone would call me and say things like, oh, y'all do all this recruiting, and people like, poke at us, right? All this recruiting, but y'all don't do any premium. And I'd be like, I know, do you have any tips? Like, we're really lacking there. Like, yeah, we stink at that, I never knew they were like making fun of us, right? They're like, yeah, y'all recruit, but y'all don't license. I'd be like, yeah, do you got tips? Like, we're trying to figure that out. We've just always been we're students and we're humble. We never think we've arrived, even at this moment. Our thoughts and our mindset and our attitude and our environment and what we know and our love and belief in our people, it's gotten us to 800,000. But we got to grow to get to 1 million a year. We got to grow to get to 2 and 3 million a year. So we don't know everything. And I never think we know everything, And I think that's kind of our edge too, is that, we're such students and we're humble. We're always learning. And I think we got to get so much better. It's insane. Just like you're great leaders. That's why they're doing the Zoom today, is they want to get better. And how awesome is that? That's the hierarchy. That's the leadership that you guys are a part of. Because some people think they figured it all out and that they don't need that they've got it all going on. And the fact is, man, it's that little next thing to take us to the next level. And that's got to be so exciting, right? And I'll tell y'all, we started at 21 years old. We went out to regional vice president. We got recruiting going. That's why I'm going to spend all my time talking about recruiting today. Recruiting cranking. And we started 50 is like, when you start hitting that 50 mark, that's like an orbit that's unbelievable. It's so fun. 50 is like where this thing starts really getting to a different fun level, where it just seems to go. It's like that rocket. It takes everything to take off. But man, once it hits that orbit, it just goes and it almost looks effortless, right? And just like your great leaders, they're so good, it looks effortless, right? But I'm telling you, it's that marker point. So we come in at 21. We go to RVP at 22 years old. So about a year later, we went out to regional vice president. And that's, by the way, after falling on our faces for the first 4 to 5 months, easy. But one thing we're really good at is we do learn from our mistakes. I'll make a lot of mistakes, but man, we learn from them and we get tips on them, and we always want to be coachable and get to that next level. By the time we were 26 years old, I always tell people we retired. And I don't mean we retired like stop doing Primerica, but I do mean we retired as in the fact of, by the time we were 26 years old, we gave 5 hard years to Primerica. It started paying us $20,000 to $25,000 a month residual, whether we ever worked again, whether we ever got another client again, whether we ever got out of our beds, showed up to the office. And again, I know there's people in Primerica that do way bigger than that, but that's unbelievable that you can be 21 years old and 5 years later be making $20,000 to $25,000 a month residual. That's with my base shutting down. After all the leaders that we had launched out at that point, I mean, what a business that we're a part of, right? We saved our first $1 million by the time we were 29 years old. We became cash millionaires in Primerica because of the concepts they taught. And that's why I tell people Primerica is not a get rich quick. And every meeting I do, I say, if you're looking for the get rich quick, leave. If you want easy, that's sleazy, right? That's not Primerica. You know where the get rich quick is? It's in the corner with the unicorn and Bigfoot, right? That doesn't exist here. However, my gosh, it's pretty dang close. But it's not a get rich quick. But my gosh, it's pretty dang close. Because I'm not saying from 21 to 29, and I'm not saying even $1 million is rich. By no means is that rich. But unbelievable. On a bad month now, I used to work all year. I used to serve tables and bartend. And my highest income before Primerica was $20,000 in a year. $20,000 in a year. And now in a bad month, we make that every 10 days. So I tell people all the time that on a bad month, I would have had to work 3 years to make what we now make every single month. I would have had to work 36 years to make what we make every single year. I would have had to work 72 years to make what we make now in 2 years. I was meeting with a guy late last night, and he said, man, money's not important to me. It's just about I go, if you can make all lifetime income in the next 2 years, and then you keep living the way that you are, right? Because it pays the bills, doesn't it? What if you made the next 72 years of income in 2 years? So then the rest of your life, you can just spend every day with your kiddos. And you don't change anything because it pays the bills, so it can pay you the next, right? Like almost 100 years of your life. And he said, that'd be incredible. I said, so it's not the fact you're going to go make millions so you can wear Gucci and Louis Vuitton, even though you can wear that stuff. And we like that stuff too. But imagine that, and you get to be free. It does buy back time. It does buy freedom, and it does buy choices. And man, we live in America, the land of the what? The free, right? But most people, they're not free, unfortunately. So that's what recruiting's done. That's what recruiting has done in our life, is it's given us this just dream life. And we haven't arrived, and we have a lot more goals we're going for, and we're super excited. But my goodness, man, it's given us just such a dream life. And sorry guys, we're in the car, so there's gonna be some different things going on. But it's given us a dream life. You know, we have a 4-year-old, a 3-year-old, and I have a 7-month-old. And man, those kids, man, we spend so much time, and every day, and those girls and little boy Cash, you know, they would never understand if we had a job or had to leave or we weren't there. They just don't. To them, just parents are there all the time. Mom and dad are there all the time. And they would never question if there's anything that we're going to be at. So what a blessing. But I'll tell you a few tips that I have, and you guys got recruiting going on. I'm not going to teach you guys anything new. And my number one rule is, if I say anything that goes against your great leaders, you don't do it. You listen to those guys. You know, they're on the move. They got it cranking. They got it going. They have invested interest in you. They're right there at your fingertips. And you don't ever go against anything that your great leaders are doing and tell you. And to me, by the way, I never go through presentation, really systems. So I don't really go against the grain, because I don't think we're so good that we came up with some magical presentation that has changed the world. You know, I don't think it's the presentation. I think it's the presenter, right? If people leave an interview and they go, yeah, they weren't interested, I go, no, you were not interesting. You were very boring, right? Because if someone says no, they didn't say no to the presentation. They didn't say no to Primerica. They said no to you. And so that's why we're fanatic, and we're just very nuts about self-improving, growing, getting better, because people buy you. They don't buy Primerica. They buy you. They buy your energy, your conviction. They buy your belief. They buy your energy. They buy how committed you are. You know, I get people, they go, I just need a committed team. Well, then you need to be committed. I just want people that are disciplined. Then you need to get disciplined. I just want people that are animals and they're beasts, and they put up numbers, and you need to be an animal. You need to be a beast. And you need to put up numbers. And people go, I did. No, you need to do constantly and consistently. You know, your guys are always watching you, and your team will do twice the bad and half the good, right? So they'll do twice the bad and half the good. So if you do 10 by 10, then you'll be lucky if they do 5 by 5. So you got to look at your numbers that you did and go, okay, if they do half of what I did personally last month, what would my team look like? You know, and so, but they buy your energy, your conviction, your belief. They buy your commitment. And, you know, you being sold out and committed, you want sold out, committed people. And by the way, you're going to explode this business. You got to get full timers. You can't get full timers unless you license people. But you can't license people unless you recruit people. But you can't recruit people unless you're having about how many sets, invites, or I don't know what y'all call them. We call them commits. And that's someone that's committed to meet with us, either for an appointment, a KT, or to see the opportunity. But how we built our business was getting what we call 10 sets a day keeps a small base shop away, right? 10 sets a day keeps a small base shop away. So we were always about setting 10, because if we set 10 Monday through Saturday, then that means at all times there was 60 as a full timer. There was always 60 things set up, 60. So if 3 days went by, but if every day I was setting 10, that means the ball was always in play. I was never big about doing and by the way, if you do, that's fine. But I was never big about doing just a Sunday power hour and then hoping my whole next week was lined up with that. Because if by Wednesday, the recruit quit that I set all the appointments with on Sunday, well, then I'm out of luck. But if every day I'll set 10 things, That means I always have something coming up. I always have something happening, and your attitude always stays good, right? Y'all ever hear attitude is everything? Attitude is like, that's why leadership is caught. It's not taught. You know, you got to catch that right attitude. And attitude, man, you got to be up, up, up in a down, down world. And we just don't allow our people to have any kind of negativity, negative attitude. It's totally unacceptable, you know? And, you know, when we're working with people, there's really 4 things I look for when I'm working with someone. Number 1, they got to have an incredible attitude. And they can control that. And if they don't have it, we fix it immediately, right? So they got to have an incredible attitude. Number 2, they got to plug in. They got to plug into things. They got to show up. They got to plug into Zooms, conference calls, live meetings, everything. You got to plug in, because your phone you plug in every day. So why wouldn't you plug in every day? Right? If we don't plug our phones in, what happens to the phone? It dies, right? Well, if you don't plug in, guess what's going to happen to you? You're going to die. Okay. So you got to stay plugged in. So they got to have a great attitude. They got to plug in. They got to have an unbelievable, great credibility. And what that means is they got to have credibility in their market. If you don't have credibility in your market and you're unlikable, then you're a project. Nothing wrong with projects, but that's a project. And so you got to be likable. And I really don't care. I'll be straight with y'all with me. I don't, you know, an 18 or 19-year-old with great credibility and everyone loves them is better than a married house kids person who's hibernated in their house for the last 10 years and they have no friends. No one likes them. They don't hang out with no one. I'm going to actually get better results of that little 18, 19-year-old that everyone loves them and they're likable and have great credibility than with the 5-pointer who hibernates in their house, doesn't go anywhere, doesn't talk to no one likes them. They don't like anybody. I'd rather train the 18, 19-year-old. So I don't go off like age, or I just go off likability. And do you have a big market that everyone likes you? If you have a big market that everybody likes you, then we're going to crank it and kill it, right? Like, think about Bill Little. Out of his RVPs, like 80% of his first generations came from Collis Temple. Collis Temple was very likable, right? He was young. He was a no-pointer, but everyone loved him. And coach, like, saw 50 people, 60 people their first month in training because Collis Temple was he was young, single, but he was incredibly likable. And now like 80% of his first generations came from that one leg, right? So to me, that just doesn't necessarily matter. I just want credibility and likability, right? And then number 4 is you got to have an unbelievable desire to win. There has to be something inside of you that you're hungry, an unbelievable desire to win and be somebody. And I think along with that, if you have an unbelievable desire to win, you're usually competitive. And I know this group, I know y'all are very competitive, right? But you got to be competitive and have that unbelievable desire to win and be somebody and be at the top. And so those are all things, you know, but I'll tell you, our edge is what I mentioned earlier, is that I love, you know, we come back from convention. Everyone talks about my next convention, 2024. They talk about their goals and what they're going to go do and where they're going to be at. I think that's great, but I don't think that really motivates people. I think it motivates you for a second. I think it's fun to talk about how in 2 years you're going to be making $500,000 or you're going to be SVP or NSD, whatever it is. I think that's great. But I'm really big on, that's great what you're going to do 2 years from now, but what are we going to do today? What are your daily goals? And we have our guys and us, we're very big on setting daily goals and winning the day. Because that's all we can do today. That's all we can control today. Can't control what I'm going to, you know, I think about so much 2 years from now. Closer to those goals. So that's why I'm really big. Am I cutting out? We may be driving through some random areas. But that's why I'm really big on daily goals, and they don't have to be what our goals are. But you have to set daily goals, and you got to work a schedule. I am over the top, total nuts. I'm fun. Me and Rob are fun. We're good, but we are insane about schedules. If people go, yeah, but I thought it was in Primerica, I get to be free. Well, yeah, but if you act like an idiot with your freedom, they'll lock you back up in your corporate job. You've got to schedule. You've got to have some sort of schedule that you're a nut with. You know, my parents would call me, especially back in the earlier days, and say, hey, your Aunt Rita's flying in. Can you go get her? I'd say, no, I got to work today. They go, yeah, but you just kind of do whatever you want every day, don't you? I go, no, I work and I'm scheduled to work right at that time. I can't go get her. And they're like, yeah, but so-and-so's got to work. I mean, you're your own boss. I go, yes, I am my own boss. And I scheduled myself to work at that exact time. So I cannot go get her because I have work to do. And so we have always been a nut. Guys, and most y'all don't ever want to do stuff like this, but you can ask Rob Cooper. He's sitting right here beside me. He'll tell you, we legit, like, for at least 6 years, we would go, we are not going home until we get our 10 sets. Never. Not for 6 years. 6 years straight. It didn't matter what happened. It didn't matter what came up. It didn't matter emergency. Nothing mattered. For 6 years straight, we would never go home until we had our 10 set. That was the rule, that we do not go home till 10 are set. If you told, and by yours doesn't have to be 10, maybe yours is 5, but whatever number you come up with, you've got to be disciplined and work a schedule enough to say, I'm not going home till XYZ. You know, a lot of you guys love Miguel's jar thing, right? Y'all, we've all heard Miguel's jar, you know, you got to put this paper in the jar. We never did the jar thing. I still don't ever do. But in a way, when Miguel was telling that story, I'm like, that's what we did. We never went home. So technically there was a jar. We put our 10 in the jar, whatever that is. But that's what we did back in 2008, 2009, 2010. Everything we have today is from the discipline and the work that we did during all that time. And we're just fanatic about working a schedule. And guys, you do that, you can't lose. Like, you'll beat everybody. And the confidence and self-image and the self-belief that you build because you said you were going to do something and you did it, because you can control that, can't you? You can control how many sets you get today. 100%. You control that. So when every day you say you're going to do something and you do it, your self-image of yourself goes up. And when the self-image and belief in yourself goes up because you do what you say you're going to do, then your performance, your belief, your conviction, you feel deserving. See, when you're disciplined, sorry guys, it's raining, so it's going to probably sound pretty loud here. Can y'all still hear me okay?
Yes, ma'am, we're good.
Good, okay. I was talking to my guys the other day, and I told them, I said, if you were eating ridiculously healthy, like psycho healthy, like all you drank was water, all you ate was broccoli, water and broccoli, that's all you drank, that's all you ate. And imagine you did that for an entire year. But imagine that you kept gaining every month. You'd get on the scale and you gain 10 pounds a month. You'd be so pissed off, and it's unacceptable. It's so unacceptable, and your clothes aren't fitting. Let's imagine you went up 3 sizes. You would be so pissed off. You'd probably run in a hospital and yell that you need help and that a doctor needs to see you because something is terribly wrong. Because if you drank that way and you ate that way, you would demand results, wouldn't you? And you demand that you'd be losing weight, right? Hang on. Hey, babe, will you tell everyone I'm on a Zoom? Will you post that so people quit calling me? Sorry, we have like 200 people. We're all like around each other driving, and everyone wants to call me right now. So it keeps messing my stuff up. So tell everyone I'm on a Zoom so I can't talk. But because you would demand that you lose weight, you lose inches, you look good because you're doing the what? The work. It would be unacceptable to be overweight, gaining weight, and not fitting in your clothes if all you did for a year was drink water and eat broccoli. Well, that's the problem. Is most of my guys and most people, they're not pissed off. They're not mad at where they're at because they don't feel like they deserve even better because they're not doing the work. See, when you're disciplined on your Primerica business, you feel deserving to win and be big and be somebody and be an RVP, be making $100,000 a year, be making $300,000 a year, be making $500,000 a year. You feel deserving. And when you feel deserving, only then will you be demanding. And you have to demand success. I had a girl come off this other day and she was crying, right? And I was just smiling, right? And I go, are you done being sad? And she's like, what? I'm like, well, I like that you're sad. She's like, you like that I'm crying? I go, kinda. Yeah, I like that. She goes, why? I go, because finally you're crying only because you feel like you deserve better. So finally you've been disciplined enough to feel like you deserve to win. I go, your numbers have sucked for like 2 years and you've never cried. But you know why she's never cried? Because she knew she wasn't doing the work to win. That's the only reason. If after a month in you're not pissed off, it's because you knew you didn't do the work to deserve more. So only once you feel deserving will you demand. And I laugh with I have a relationship with her, so I could do this. Don't do that with everybody. You'll lose people if you start laughing when they're crying, okay? I go, are you done being sad? Because only when you're done being sad can you get mad. And I like mad. Mad's a good state of mind. Because now when you're mad, now you're going to really go compete because you feel deserving. And now you're going to demand success. You're going to demand it. And that's what you have to do to win big here. You have to demand success. You got to demand winning. You got to demand that, there was times in our business too, the numbers just weren't falling. And Rob being the great husband and partner that he is, right? And spouse. And Rob's a beast, man. Rob's done everything in Primerica, interviews, calls. And to be honest with you guys, Rob's way ridiculously, I don't think this surprises anybody. He's better at me than the business. I'm just an A personality and I cannot not do stuff. Like I have to be doing stuff or I'm a bad version of Whitney Cooper. I'm not good, right? And, but Rob's ridiculously great at Primerica. And, but Rob would say things like, babe, I'd be so pissed at myself. Like, man, like, I know it's going to happen. I know it's going to fall. Like I demand results. And he'd go, babe, hey, no one can work harder than you. You're trying really hard, babe. I go, don't say that to me. I love you, babe, but don't say that to me. He's like, what? Don't tell me that I'm just trying really hard. And that's okay because it's unacceptable. Like you're treating me like I don't know, like I have some kind of disability. And there's nothing wrong with disabilities. I'm totally capable. And it's unacceptable to not put a ball in the basket. The ball's got it. Because here's a fact, okay? I played sports, volleyball, basketball. No one goes up to the player at the end of the game that tried really hard but scored no points. No one goes up to the player at the end of the game and says, hey, Luca, you scored no points, but you hustled a lot, you ran around a lot, you tried hard, you lost the game, but you ran around a bunch. What were your thoughts? What were you thinking out there? Tell the crowd how good it feels to score nothing, but you hustled hard. No one talks to that player at the end of the game. You know why? Because no one cares that you tried hard. It's not good enough to like want this really bad. It's a start. It will get you going. But you got to have the attitude of having zeros and no results on a weekly. That's unacceptable. You have to demand results and success if you want to win big and be somebody, right? It still amazes me why people quit Primerica. And I know y'all are seasoned, y'all don't need to hear this, but I'm still going to tell y'all. You know, and I talk to my guys every single meeting. It's still to this day, it's unbelievable. People quit Primerica because of these reasons. You know, number one, people quit Primerica because of negative friends and family. And worse than negative friends and family, we now quit because of strangers. First off, there's billions of people in this world, which means there's billions of thoughts and opinions. And for us to allow one to change our entire course in life is unbelievable. You know, I have grown men and women that don't do Primerica because of what their mom said. I had a 43-year-old say, yeah, I was talking to my dad. And I was like, what? He's like, I was talking to my dad. I'm like, what? You're 43 years old. You're a grown man and you still listen to your parents? Like, I haven't listened to my parents since I was 2 years old. Don't eat a cookie. I ate the cookie. Then I was in high school. You can't go out. I still went out. Then I was in college, right? We don't want you going to Mexico, right? By yourself. I still went to Mexico by myself. I have never listened to my parents. And I'm not telling you to like disrespect your parents. There's a difference. Y'all hear me out on that? So I'm not saying to disrespect your parents. You respect them and one day you take care of them. But if they don't have the exact life and they're not trying to get you in it that you want, and they've never done Primerica, why would we ever listen to them? I've never listened to them. I didn't listen to Rob. Rob told me not to do Primerica. I never listened to anybody, right? So it amazes me that people allow other people to change their whole course in life. And what's worse than people that you know, now we listen to people we don't know. So it's worse. At least back in the old days, you listen to people that you at least knew somewhat where they're at. Now we listen to Brad or Brian on the internet. You don't even know who Brad is. Brad's writing, Primerica doesn't work. I tried it. And Brad's an idiot who works the midnight shift at Taco Bell. And you're listening to Brad. And you go, oh, Brad said it didn't work out. He's back in the back working at Taco Bell 1 a.m. So now you're listening to some idiot. You don't even know their life. It's worse today than it ever was. Because now we listen to complete strangers who are idiots. It bogs my mind. You know, and what you got to really remember is why would these people believe in you when they've never even believed in themselves? Why would you think they're going to magically believe all these big things in you when they work an average job? They've decided to be average and be average in their life. So you think this average person who's never believed in themselves enough to do something bigger, you think now they're going to pour all this belief and conviction into you when they've never even been able to believe in themselves? Right? It's unbelievable, right? So anyways, I want you to think of this. That's one of the reasons. The second reason people don't do Primerica is it doesn't happen fast enough. And they put a time on Primerica. They say, I'm going to give it 6 months. I'm going to give it a year. And if it's not what I want by then, I'm out of here. And the fact is, you forget, you know, it took you 3 years to learn how to use a toilet. And you want to be a millionaire in Primerica in 3 years? It took you 3 years to learn how to use the bathroom. But you come here and you put this time limit on Primerica, and it just doesn't work that way. You know, and by the way, you don't do that in anything else in your life. Like when you had your kids, Did you put an ultimatum? Like, did you put a time on that and say, hey, if you're not learning, if you're not potty trained after 2.5 years old, you're out of here. We didn't do that with our spouses. If you don't learn to do your dishes by our 2nd year in marriage, it's divorce for us. You didn't do, no, you hung in there because you're not a quitter. So why do we come to Primerica and put a time on it? Don't put a time on it. Have patience with urgency. I'm all about goals. But man, don't do the, if I'm not here by this time, I'm going to quit. If I'm not making $500,000 by my 2nd year, I'm out of here. I'm like, dude, you used to work at Best Buy. You were never going to make $500,000. So isn't the 10-year, the 15, the 20-year plan better than the never plan? Isn't the 30-year plan better than the never plan? And this will go on for generations and legacy like the Ortiz, for your family, for the rest of your life. You know, Ed and Yvonne and the Ortiz family, y'all, they've created a legacy for their family, their kids, their grandkids forever. Job was never going to do that. You know, they'll tell you they had down times, weird times. We all have. By the way, everyone goes through tough times. Everybody. Mario Arizon, the Berrigans, Willie, Bill Whittle, Hector Lamarck, right? Mike Shaw. We all go through hard times. Don't ever let people's great attitudes fool you that everything's just constantly up, up, up. There's crazy stuff that happens all the time. But my gosh, your worst day in Primerica is your best day at a job. And you know that. You secretly know that. You wouldn't be here. You wouldn't be on the Zoom today, right? The third reason is people, and last one, I'll close with this, is, man, people don't want to change. Man, we want everything. It's a problem with our world. We want everything to change but ourselves. We want everything to get better but ourselves. You know, we want the government to get better. I tell people, quit worrying about the White House. Worry about your own house, right? Quit worrying about the White House. You don't live there. You live in your house. You worry about your house. I've never had the White House call and ask my opinion on anything. Ever. Never. And it's probably never going to happen. And if they did, I wouldn't even really know what to say. Because we're in our own zone. We're in our own world. We're just moving. We're cool. I didn't even know gas prices were high. Like, I'm not kidding you. I didn't know. So I was on a conference call with another big leader, and they kicked it off with like stats. And they said gas prices were up something crazy. I was like, really? Rob's like, babe, really? I'm like, we can't put nothing else in our car. I've never looked at the price for gas, right? Half the time, because Rob fills up my car, and I don't ever stop at gas stations. So I don't even know. But it just doesn't matter. You know, change, everyone, man, we want our spouses to change and get better. We want our kids to get better. We want movies to get better. We want food to get better. We want technology to get better. We want cars to get better. We want everything. We want the best of everything, except sometimes when it comes to ourselves. We want to remain as we are and get to where we got. You know, you can't be on first base and go all the way home. You got to leave. You got to leave first base. You got to leave second. You got to leave third. And that's the only way you're going to make it all the way to your goals and dreams. You got to leave behind where you're at to get to where you need to go. And you got to leave behind who you are to get to where you need to go. You know, change people. And I believe with everything in me, the key to depression is progression. When you're progressing and you're moving forward, how great do you feel? And when you're not, you feel horrible. And we've all been there, right? And when you're winning and progressing in Primerica, you're like on cloud million. But when you're not, you feel like horrible. And man, you've got to move. You've got to be progressing and change. You know, I meet a lot of people, unfortunately, you know, they don't smile very much. And I say, man, when you start smiling more and being excited, you'll attract, because recruiting is the attraction business. You have to be attractive, not looks wise, but your energy's gotta be contagious. Like people gotta want to be around you. And I get people, they frown a lot. They have this dead cold look on their face. I'm like, put some Vaseline on your teeth. Like make yourself smile. And they go, well, I'm happy. It's just on the inside. I was like, but we're not inside there. So like, we don't know. People don't know. I am happy, right? I'm like, well, then tell your face, because your face is unaware that you're happy. Your face isn't connecting with the brain. It's unaware that you're excited right now. There's a disconnect going on. I don't know what it is, but you got to at least like, I give exciting lessons to people. Yeah, I bring people in my office. They go, Coach, what are we going to talk about? I go, I'm going to teach you how to be excited and how to be likable and how to have some energy, because you don't got no energy. And if you don't have energy and excitement, you're not going to be in the recruiting business. And these guys tell me they want to recruit big. Well, then you got to have the attitude of big, right? Just like your great leaders do. Every time I see them, they're pumped up, fired up, they're excited, they're smiling. These guys always got events. They're always planning the next this, the next that. Guys, just mirror your leaders. Do what they do, and you'll have what they have, right? And I just think it's the easiest thing. Primerica is a copycat business. You just got to copy the right cat. And some of you guys, man, you're copying like kitty cats, and your leaders are lions. They're fierce. They're animals. Y'all got to copy the right people, right? So, guys, thank y'all for having me on. I hope to make it out there with you guys one of these days. And I hope that helps a little bit. But man, set a goal today and just start there, because there's so much in Primerica. There's so many people winning. There's so much going on. There's so many people dominating that it could be overwhelming at times. But man, set a goal. It's a new month, new you, and say, okay, what can I do today to get closer to that goal? And we always knew if we were setting things with new people, whether it was across the kitchen table or a one-on-one, we knew if we were constantly every day in front of new people, new blood, knew that we'd be on our way to success. So hopefully next time you get to hear from Rob, it was raining kind of bad, so he had to focus on the road, but he loves y'all too.
You guys are awesome.
And so hopefully we can come to Florida and really hang out with you guys and really go through a lot of other things. And but man, y'all are awesome. Y'all keep killing it. Heck, by convention, the Ortiz Fit, y'all are going to be at $1 million of income. And all that means is that you guys are going to be winning more, making more money, kicking butt. Y'all are so blessed to have the leadership that y'all have, to have the great leaders that you guys have. Stay focused on them, grab onto their coattails, and do not let go, and treat Primerica like your life depends on it, because it does. So love you guys. Have a great rest of y'all's Thursday. And man, be thinking of us. We'll be floating this river. Heck, y'all are going to be getting ahead. We got to get off this thing and get back to getting to work so we can keep up with you guys. So y'all are awesome. And man, we'll see you at the top, and we'll definitely see y'all at convention in about 30 days. Y'all are awesome.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Thank you, Whitney and Rob. Appreciate you.
Amazing, amazing.
Give it up for Whitney and Rob. Give it up for Whitney and Rob.
Let's go, Whitney.
Appreciate you, Rob, man. Thank you so much, guys, man. That was awesome. Man, that was incredible, man. That was, guys, listen, notes and notes and notes, man. Listen, rewrite your notes, what you took from Whitney's talk today, man. I mean, she gave us a clinic, man, a clinic. And if you're not on a different level right now, if you're not fired up right now, if you're not ready to recommit, man, something's wrong, man. Something's wrong. So, hey, let's go ahead and rewrite our goals. Let's rewrite our things, man. And I'm telling you, man, we're going to have a great rest of this month. Yep. Hey, guys, real quick, man, before we get off, here's a reminder. Listen, tonight we have op meeting here at our Tampa office.
In person.
In person. Let's go. Let's rally. I know Atlanta is going to start doing their op meetings as well, too. Right, guys, listen, if you are more than an hour or an hour less away, come on over. If you're an hour or more away, still come on over. Right, let's go. Let's have an awesome day. Let's have an awesome agenda. Right, and before we close out, hey, Coach Yvonne, Coach Dad, Coach Mom, are you guys there? You want to close this out?
Yeah, we're here. We're here. How you guys doing? Awesome job, Whitney. That was awesome. That was absolutely phenomenal. Man, she dropped some nuggets, didn't she? Man, was that some? Not only that, but I don't know if you guys realize that she did this right off the top of her head. I mean, she was as a passenger in the car and just, putting all this information out here. And I thought that was absolutely incredible. So great job there, man. She got some nuggets out there. There's Vaseline on the lips and on the teeth. That was phenomenal. Also, commit to 10 a day, phenomenal stuff. So way to go. And I just want to thank her. And I know that Yvonne is on the line as well. And she's got some things to share here. So, babe, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here, but everything was already said, guys. That was amazing, and not only take notes, but take it at heart and act on it. Okay, that's what's gonna make the big difference in our life. So let's go out there, let's make it happen. You guys are amazing.
Let's go. Awesome job. And thank you, Eric, for setting it up. You and Jason, all this stuff. So. Hey, let's take all this information and drive forward. Month is over. Phenomenal month, as Eric mentioned before. New month coming up. Let's put those goals out there. And like she said, write it down, work your schedule, put those goals down. One of the goals should be my next promotion. One of my goals should be, hey, I got to be moving forward. So we got to do that. Our goal as a hierarchy, just to let everyone know, as 300 by 300. So come on, let's go. And then we're going to jack it up to 400 by 400 and so forth and so on. We're just going to continue moving forward. We're just looking for the players. Come on, let's go, man. Proud of you guys. We had an awesome month. Let's go do it again. Let's celebrate and let's do it again. So with Eric, I pass it back to you, or if not, let's go close this down.
Yes, sir.
Let's
love
go.
it, Coach. I love it. I love it, man. Let's go, guys. I'm fired up, man. It's going to be an awesome month of June. It's going to be an awesome rest of this year leading the convention. Let's have a heck of a day today, man. And y'all know who we are. We are.
Let's